Hey, One Piece fans, this is Chris Bolts coming in with a One Piece recap and review of this week's episode 1128, The Nightmare Strikes, Godhead of Science and Defense, Saint Saturn. Now, before I get into the content, let me just remind you to like, share, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications, all that good stuff really helps me out. Now, before I even get into the review and the recap, I'm going to lead with the review first. That'll be a first for me. This episode was kind of, it was kind of okay. It was a very big letdown from last week's episode. Last week's episode was filled with nothing but action and excitement, and it ended on a really jarring cliffhanger, giving us that preview of Saint Saturn's power, Godhead of Science and Defense. But as I look at this episode, I was like, okay, that's fine and everything. I mean, I was still entertained by it, but overall, it was a complete letdown from last week's episode. The introduction of Saint Saturn was more, was more anticlimactic than climactic, if you will. Maybe I got those two terms backwards. I don't think I do, but it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be or anything like that. But let's go ahead and get into the content right here. So when we get onto the audit here, you see how Atlas Vegapunk had overridden the pacifistas. They're now under their command. They're now attacking the Navy. That's basically a pickup from last week's episode, where they're just going around and attacking the Navy now, as opposed to attacking the Straw Hats or the Vegapunks or anything. And this is another the realization that the Vice Admiral here had come to. Vegapunk must have overridden the pacifista order, and yes, that is absolutely correct. He overrode Atlas overrode the order from the Vegapunks, and of course the Navy is now upset because these pacifistas are very strong cyborgs, and they're upset. Geez, can't believe we lost the pacifistas. Frankie obviously is excited by that. And where is he? Yeah, so there he is right there. Frankie's obviously excited by that. Yeah, he says keep attacking, but he's also coming to the realization that they're going straight down. And if you're wondering why they could ride on clouds, the Vega tank, as Vegapunk has explained in the anime here, is that he's got some of the cloud from Skypiea, and is able to attach that to his Vega tank. That's why he's able to attach to the clouds. But he's not concerned about that. He wants them to go in there and find Bonney. And this is where we actually get a look at a feature from Sanji. Now, I don't know if this is because of his cybernetics or if it's because of his observation hockey. It might be a little bit of both. As you can see right here, he says, I need to focus. I need to feel her. And you see this big radar come out and looking for her. He's looking for her, for her. So, and of course he finds her right there. So that might be it might be a combination of both his radar, his cybernetics, and his observation hockey. He finds her, and Sanji being Sanji, he shoots off and doesn't wait for her, and he doesn't wait for her or anything like that. He just takes off. Vegapunk says, "Hey, I trust it. So go after her and go get her." And he says that their pace is too slow to keep up with his impatient heart, so he jets off for her. And of course, Bonney is in trouble herself. She actually gets caught. She's thankful that the pacifistas are no longer fighting, but that doesn't get her out of the woodwork yet, because we see that one of the vice admirals actually found her and is getting ready to attack her, and of course she fights off. She powers up her bullet, which is called what she calls the NDE. Don't know what NDE stands for or anything like that, but the bullet has the capacity to make her enemies think that they have crossed over. You see right here that it's flashing and everything. He thinks he's already dead, because we know that Bonney's power is she can turn anything old or young on a whim, and all these soldiers they all think they're dying. They've already crossed over and whatnot. Of course they didn't. It's just all up in their head and all. But that's still enough to get them incapacitated. The vice admiral chased after Bonney, but of course she gets met up by another vice admiral. This time it's going to be Bluegrass right here, and Bluegrass has the power of the ride fruit, which means that she can get on anything and be able to ride it. I think it's only if she's attached to a human because I'm a driving human who ate the ride fruit, as you see right there. So actually, pretty much, I think it's probably anything she attaches to, she can go ahead and ride. And so she turned that pacifista against its command, and that's how she was able to take over that particular pacifista, attack her. And Bonney is all flabbergasted and dumbfounded because all she sees is her father, Bartholomew. And so she's almost about to get shot by that blast, but Sanji comes in the nick of time and saves her. And he's trying to get out of there. He's telling her, hey, you got to keep your head on a swivel because that's not your father. And now you see that there's Atlas there, and they're driving off. And now we're go back up to the Labophase, and the remaining Straw Hat crew is getting ready to leave with Edison there. They got Nico Robin in some type of not a coffin, but some type of recuperative chamber. Stussy decides she wants to stay here because she still has some work that she want to do in the lab. Edison understands and says, hey, you know what, we'll go ahead and get going. We'll go ahead and get going and everything like that. And Stussy starts making her way back towards Kaku over there in the corner. She's making her way over there. Now, this is kind of funny. She got finger poked in the gut and everything like that. You would think that she would be out for the count, but when I see that, all I think about is the nerfing of the lightsaber in Disney Star Wars and how so many people get stabbed in the gut and with the lightsaber, but they are still somehow able to survive being stabbed in the gut with a lightsaber. That's my same thinking right here. Stussy gets finger stabbed by Lucci, but she's able to still walk around and still maneuver and everything like that. But it's different for a cartoon compared to a live action picture. And so it still is kind of jarring to see her walking around. So she's going to stay there and do her thing up there with Kaku. I don't know what's going to be going down. We're going to probably have to wait a couple of episodes, and I'll get to that in here in just a minute about what she's actually going to be up to. We fast forward over here to Saint Saturn. Saint Saturn is actually getting ready to make his move. Like I said, he's sick and tired of everything that's going down, and he's going to start making a move and everything like that. We see that Lucci and Zora are still battling one another. They're still fighting. They're not, each one can't get the better of the other. We see that Luffy and Kizaru are still fighting. They're not getting the better of one another. You see that this kick right here from Lucci using the armament hockey into Zoro's armament hockey infused blades. They keep going after one another. And, you know, that's where finally the elder, one of the elders has enough. You see his eyes right there. He gets ready to teleport down. Everybody is feeling it. Chopper's feeling it. Zoro's feeling it. Luffy's feeling it. The Navy is all surprised. And we just get down here. This is the clip right here. And this is where the Saint Saturn speaks a command to all the pacifistas. Hey, stand down. He just tells them. And that leaves Atlas and Stella Vegapunk wondering what the heck is going on. Why are the pacifistas not guarding them? And that's where Atlas comes to the realization that there's only one level above the above the Vegapunks, and that would be the 5 elders, the Gorosei. The Gorosei has authority above the Vegapunks, so that's why they stopped. And we see the big giant pentagram. He's getting ready to originate from that pentagram there, and you see the whole entire sky is just crimson with angst and anxiety. And you see Bonney, she's hugging herself. She's feeling that something's not right. And we see that we see not Vegapunk, but Saint Saturn erupting in this gooey mass. And there he is in all his glory. That's the look of Saint Saturn. He is monstrous. He is giant. And earlier on, I skipped past it, but one of the vice admirals specifically told anyone who was below any Navy soldier that is below the rank of Commodore cannot gaze upon Saint Saturn, because if you do, terrible consequences will follow. We see right here that there's 2 Navy soldiers right in front, and one of them, this one right here, what's that? It's a monster. And the other one tells him to cut it out, and you see what Saint Saturn just looks at him, and you see what just happened. Immediate death looking upon him. Now we just cut back to one last scene right here where Kizaru is getting ready to is basically telling Luffy that he is reaching his limit with his Gear 5. But that's when Luffy gets one big giant idea. I got one last punch that I can go ahead and give you, and that's it right here. Gumu Gumu no! Star Gun! And he punches him, knocks Kizaru all the way into a building, and there's Saint Saturn just looking at everything. And we see the Vega tank has been destroyed, because prior to that, Kizaru shot the cloud rail that the Vega tank was riding on, and it was falling. And Frankie called out to Luffy, said, "Hey, we need your help, Luffy." And Luffy was going to try to go in there and help out, but Kizaru had other ideas. Said, "Nah, you still got to deal with me." And so the Vega tank fell to the earth, and thing was built out of a really good pod, because nobody was hurt or anything like that. But we see that Bonney is still distraught, but she realizes who's there, that it's Vegapunk. She breaks free of Sanji's hold. She takes a sword, and she's having all these memories of her father, and she screams out Saint Saturn's name, and then ultimately just stabs him right there. And that cuts to the end of the episode. And of course, next week's episode, I don't think there is going to be a next week episode. It's going to be a recap. I think Carrot's going to be off in there as well. If you guys remember Carrot, she's one of the humanoid-like animals. I forgot what they're called, but she's going to be in this episode, and it's going to be her and Chopper recapping the life of Bartholomew and Jewelry Bonney, Dr. Chopper's Adventure Checkup, the Ballad of a Father and Daughter. So I probably won't be doing a recap or review of next week's episode, because it's going to be a recap. So, and I hate recap episodes. I really do. But again, this episode was kind of it was ho hum. It was okay, not bad, not good, just right in the middle. I would give it a 6.5, a 6.5 out of 10. It did advance the story, but it was just lackluster considering the prior episodes that led up to this one. And it's obviously going into a recap, and like I said, no one likes to at least me. I don't like recap episodes or anything. So those are my thoughts on that. What did you guys think about this episode? Did this episode live up to your expectations, or were you a bit let down like I was? Jump down in the comments and let me know. And remember to like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that good stuff really helps me out. And remember, This is Chris Bolt signing off, and I will catch you in the next video. You guys take it easy.